Hello, everybody. It is kind of a red day. Mostly red, but some green. Um, I'm actually in the majority of these positions. I actually just sold out of HYMS today, even though it's down. I think we made, let me see, I had 100 shares at 40 bucks. I think I've been $42. Because I rebought in here, I sold right around here, rebought in here, and then I just decided to sell again today because, well, I think the news about the whole Trump pharma thing and prescriptions with the government online, just I think that's one of the reasons why HIMS is going down. I just sold it a little bit ago. It's starting to go back up, so who knows? I'll probably regret that because HIMS is a great company. But anyway, the reason I'm making the video is because I actually bought another 1,000 shares of Hydrite. So originally I was thinking of getting some here, but I didn't have capital ready for it after the recent zigzag pattern. I didn't know how long it was going to continue, but this should have been the last zag where it should have gone up right here. This is the day I thought it was going to go up, but it didn't do much. The next day we had a lot of price action going up and down there. And then today we're down pretty significantly. I literally bought some at 282. Yeah, my little stack is somewhere in one of these, I think. But yeah, hoping the price action continues to be positive. This has been kind of a consistent thing where it'll dip and yeah, it'll go up a bit, have a little bit of a flat dip time, go up, a little bit either flat or dip, up, flat or dip, up. And then for the first time we actually did, let's see, we are, let me check. So we've actually been close to the 10-day moving average quite a bit. We've dipped below and risen above. We've closed near it quite a few times. This was the first day right here that it closed below it. And if anybody follows certain people online, they know that if you close below the 10-day, that can be a very big warning sign. And we've definitely seen that. That's about I'd say 15% change from, what is that, 320 down to 280. It's about 40 cents. Yeah, it's between 12 and 15% over the last couple days. Again, this is a small stock. It's a speculative stock. It's not too worried about it. There was a Seeking Alpha article a few days ago. I think it was last week. It's might have been on Friday, might have been on Thursday. I don't remember. I can't actually read it because I don't subscribe to Seeking Alpha because I'm poor. But I did have Grok summarize it. And let me just see. Do I have? I do. Okay. So I actually asked Grok to summarize it because why the hell not? But what the guy's basically saying is that these people have an annual compound average growth rate or annual growth rate of 50% since 2022. So they're growing very well. Obviously, 50% of a small amount of profit is not a ton, but if this can at least be maintained for a year or two, even if it goes up to, go down to 40%, on average of 40% for the next 5 years, these people will do very well. They have quite a small float. We're talking like 50 million share float, so they may dilute. But there's a great summary of the company. Let me see, fair value estimates up to 250% above current prices. That's pretty good. Significant upside because of that CAGR, 40 to 100% revenue, expanding margins. All the stuff is looking really good, and this was what was pretty exciting to me. The price to sales is about 2, and most of their peers are 5 to 10 times. So A lot of the numbers are looking very positive. People don't buy companies for what they're worth; they buy them for what they will be worth. That's why a company like PayPal isn't doing anything, even though they make a lot of money. Their growth rate's like at 4 or 5%, so people don't want to give them a multiple. These guys are, so very small. There's like other companies like ASTS, and we'll call them pre-revenue companies like, what is it? Yeah, ASTS. I don't think they're even making money yet, but people are assuming down the road, once their satellites get in the air, they're going to be making money. But so that they have a huge multiple right now. Everyone talks about Palantir having a massive multiple. Well, they do, but other companies have huge multiples because they just don't have revenue yet. Let me see. So, but when I look at that, as far as if they get a similar multiple, we're looking at a 5x from this position. If they get a similar multiple as their peers, if their growth rate maintains basically 40 is the medium. The conservative is 10 to 40. The optimistic is 40 to 100. So we're looking at an average about 40% growth. So we're pretty excited. They're definitely. I did mention dilution risk. So 15 million market cap. That doesn't make sense. They can't be at 15 million. Where's my shares out not available? You can kind of basically, if we do about 3 times, this divided by 3, they got about 50 million shares out there, which is relatively small for most companies. I think Google's got, what is it, 12 billion shares out. There's quite a bit of shares out on Google, but obviously very different companies. All I'm saying is that there is a fear of dilution, as if their price. My guess is if the price goes up to $4 or $5, they could dilute, potentially do 5 million shares at $5. That'd give them a nice $25 million to get things going. Their income has been kind of low. They've had every other quarter they'll have a very negative net income, because they're putting a lot of money into their business. They're working on their vertical integration and fleshing out all of the sections of their business to make sure it's all running smoothly. Then the next quarter, take a breather. Then the next quarter, they put a bunch of money in. So what they may do some dilution, but again, they increase their float by 10%, get 25 million bucks from that. I mean, that's pretty small. If you, man, they're up a lot. I mean, 20 cents to $3 is a lot. I wish I would have. But the problem is that you don't really know what a stock's going to do when it's at 20 cents. Every stock that's at 20 cents, 10 cents, 5 cents, they all look great. They all look great, and they all have great, business proposals. Like, this is what we're doing, this is what we're trying to do, and you just don't know until they start to perform and show numbers. So right around here, and then right around here, yeah, HYDTF was starting to show that they actually can be profitable. It's just taken some time. So the current PE ratio is pretty massive, because their earnings per share was pretty minuscule. They did have profit, but it's very small, so this is ridiculous. Their forward PE is 20 though, which is very reasonable. And if their growth maintains, we're looking at a pretty wild ride over the next few years. The news that came out today was about Trump starting some type of government pharmacy thing where you can get very inexpensive pharmaceutical drugs via the government. So they're like a gatekeeper to make sure that prices don't get too out of hand. At least that's what the theory is. HYDTF doesn't really, that's not a part of their core business. They do have an online pharmacy network, but that's not their core business. This shouldn't be super affected as long as their prices are somewhat similar to the government ones. Their primary stuff is a lot of, a lot of tools for their providers like nurses and doctors, like their payroll, marketing, training, insurance, advice, and legal. All of these are services provided for their consultants. For their providers. So their providers pay them a fee, and they're taken care of as well. Then they have, of course, their services they provide to people. They have telemedicine consultations. So anyway, they got a lot of stuff going for them now. Again, revenue growth, profitability is they are profitable. They can, in a sense, choose to be profitable, or they can do like what Amazon did and just blow through money to build up their business, which I would prefer them to do just to get themselves as safe as possible and built up as possible. But great margins and great growth, very early stage still. So we're looking at the dip today. It's been, where are you, Hydrate? It takes them a while to load. There we go. So yeah, I actually bought right around here, about 282. I'm almost done with building the position, not because I don't want to buy more, but because I'm actually, I'm a fairly new investor. I don't own a lot. I have a lot of safe stocks in my retirement account, but my numbers are pretty low there. So I've owned Hood since '70, but I've got like 30 shares of them because I don't have a lot of money. Nebius, Palantir, I've gotten some pretty good returns on some of these. Unfortunately, I just didn't have a lot of money to invest into them. So this is kind of my my multi-bagger that I'm working on. I have made some trades on Solana Holdings and New AI recently. I got into them around 150 or so, sold half the positions when they popped. I think I sold half of, I sold half of New AI up here, and then I kept 1,000 shares. Then I sold the rest of it today because I don't know what's going to happen with them. But long story short, there's a lot of great data center companies, and Solana is similar to those. Maybe they'll be great, maybe they won't. But HYDTF for me is the one that I've done a lot of research on. At some point, my brother and I would like to start a investment channel, not like a daily thing, not to like watch the market every day. I know there's a lot of financial stock channels online. Our goal is more just to spend time together and go over different investment strategies. He wants to call the channel Money Badgers. So eventually I'll try to make a channel called Money Badgers, and then we'll probably just pick one stock and do a deep dive on it for a month that we really believe in, and then if something really great comes along, we can do another one. But anyway, yeah, I'm just making one because we have had a big dip. It's basically down almost $1 from the highs a week ago. That's about 25%. If it was at 4 and it went down $1, that'd be a 25% reduction. If it's 370 when it goes down, well, this is close to, let's just say 25 to 30% dip from the $3.71 high. And this was pushing here for a while. Like if we look at this right here, it was trying, like lots of momentum. And this day, boom, it tried, it went back down. Boom, it tried, went back down, and it even opened up higher. So it was trying for those few days, and then it just ran out of steam. Decent, good day, big down, flat. Tried to go up, tried to go down. People were fighting about it. Another big down day. Sub 280, 270. Like, I don't know. I mean, we may dip down, and we may dip down, back to the 250. I don't know. The companies could always go to zero. Like saying, we may go down to 250, but it's we're looking at for a month or so. We've been basically, there's a lot of support right around here. That's why I love this action. It goes up, consolidation, goes up, consolidation, goes up, consolidation, up a little bit, consolidation. This is a big pump, and then a little bit of a dip back down, but we're basically where we were before. We just got to hold this area, and as long as the market doesn't crash, as long as nothing bad news about Hydrite comes out. And also they've had a lot of catalysts in their news and in their program for a while about, good stuff in their company. So they haven't had any significant news for almost a month. So there's not a lot of hype. No one's covering this as far as I know. I was surprised a Seeking Alpha article came out because I didn't think anyone was covering this. And their volume is so low, like, big selling today, but most of the time, we're looking at 2 to 3,000 in volume occasionally throughout the day. Like this is rare right here. I saw that over here a little bit that they were having $50,000 volume. Sorry, 50,000 share volume. But when I was covering this and buying this before, there would be days where I bought like 1,000 shares. And then for 2 hours, that was the only sale that happened. And I would see it down here, like there's just 1,000 shares. Like it would look kind of like this. Without this one, it'd be like, oh, there's my 1,000 shares or whatever it is, or there's my 2,000 shares. And, it's been high RSI for a while. It's starting to take a breather. It's taking a dip. And again, this is healthy. I know some people probably holding it back here. Some people probably bought it here. I know I bought somewhere around the $1.20 range. That's a pretty big bump. And I could, of course, sell and take profit on that if I wanted to, but I don't, because there's a lot of stocks that you can buy, like Open Door or whatever it is, that like pump a lot really early, and then you get out of them and make a good amount of money. But these people, I believe in them. I have some convictions, so I'd like to sit in them for a while. And this is my belief right now. I don't have much of them in my retirement account. I got a small amount of them, but in my regular trading account that I deposit money into, this is one of my big positions. So anyway, we're making a video, not that anyone subscribes and not that you have to, or anyone that watches it, but this would be a good buying opportunity in my opinion. I did buy about 1,000 shares right here. We had a nice little dip right here. 1,000 shares at 280 goes back up to $3. That's a 300. That's like a 10% gain, just on those shares. So hoping it recovers. Obviously, I'd love for this to go to $100 tomorrow, and then I could actually like sell half of it or all of it. But realistically, short term, little pullbacks are healthy. This was a little bit of consolidation today. It definitely dipped a bit. No news, no nothing, except for the whole Trump thing. What day is it today? The 30th? Yeah, you can look us up on YouTube. I don't have enough people to follow me where I would show this to people and do a live stream with the Trump news. But there's something about it's bringing some of the medical field down. HIMSS in particular is down because of that news, because they do a lot of online pharmaceutical deliveries and sales. So this thing that happened with the Trump administration could be disrupting for them. HYDTF, I think, is in a similar boat. They're down 10% today, but I don't think that their core business is related to the pharmaceuticals. They're more into services inside the home, like a mobile hospital. Oh, there we go. What is that? That was a little bit of a sell. Oh, it dipped down, popped back up, so it looked like a buy and a sell at once. Who the hell knows what's going on there? But anyway, I'll end the video there. That is 18 minutes. Damn, I need to get better at doing short-term videos. I tend to ramble. I know that I watch a lot of videos online, and there's some people that have really good 5-10 minute videos where they just get into the details, they get through it, and they're good. Other people will they'll have a thing that says, I'm buying this one stock, and then it's a 40-minute video and they don't even mention what the stock is, and they're like, I don't know, I don't have time to go through that. So I'm guessing most people don't either. So anyway, I'll try to stop rambling. 20 minutes. But good buying opportunity right now, I think. We'll see if I'm an idiot down the road, and if this turns out to be good or bad. But good luck today, guys. Hope your portfolios are doing good, and we'll see you next time.